tonight with that breaking news in Oakland, California. A warehouse party that turned into a deadly inferno. Witnesses say it went up like a tinderbox, burning in mere seconds. The scene so horrific, authorities at this hour are still searching for the missing. At least 9 people killed, dozens unaccounted for. Partygoers trapped on the second floor as the flames devoured that building. It was a gathering place where many artists lived and worked. Tonight, details about the victims are just beginning to emerge, and now questions about just how unsafe this building may have been. No sprinklers, the only stairway out blocked, and were there past building code violations?
What do we know at this point? What do we know so far? This fire broke out last night during what was described as some sort of music concert and party that was going on inside this warehouse. What we know is 9 people are confirmed dead, and we were told at the briefing that their bodies have now been removed and are en route to the coroner's office. But as officials just told us, they have accounted for many other people who they thought were missing who have been located. That is the good news. We know the building was under investigation by the city. The property owners were notified last month about violations of hazardous trash and debris. Witnesses say the only exit was a wooden staircase that went up in flames, trapping people who were up partying on the second floor. Now, KPIX5's Emily Turner walks us through how the tragedy unfolded overnight. Take a listen.
Much of this story is still buried under piles of debris and rubble. We're going into the 19th hour since this fire started, but here's what we know about the first few hours.
The request for traffic control from the fire department, 20 X-ray.
The first call came out just before midnight. Firefighters arrived to see an Oakland artist space ablaze, fire pouring out of 3 sides.
I was about to start painting, and we tried to figure out where the smoke was coming from, and then we saw where the fire was. It was on the back left corner of the space, and started yelling and trying to get everyone out.
A rave had been going on upstairs with 50 to 100 people inside. Some got out, many didn't.
I mean, it all happened really quick. The fire went up really quickly.
Highly flammable pallets had been stacked up, used as stairs. The fire department says they went up like kindling, trapping partygoers on the second floor and making the fire impossible to fight from the inside.
You know, our firefighters did everything they could, to get into and to put this fire out quickly, but it was a lot. It was a heavy smoke. There was a lot of smoke and flames and heat that we had to back out.
It took 52 firefighters 4 hours to put out, but still they couldn't go inside. The blaze damaged the structure too badly. Firefighters initially said 9 dead, knowing that number would rise as the sun came up.
This is an unfortunate day for Oakland, and it just hurts.
Authorities are prepared to deal with dozens of people dead.
This is a very, very traumatic event. This is a very rough day for the city of Oakland. Our hearts go out to the families, to our first responders that have to deal with this. This is very, very tough for us. This hits very close to home for a lot of us.
Rescuers are using drones with thermal imaging to locate hot spots. It could take days before we know the cause.
California say murder charges are possible in Friday's deadly warehouse fire. 36 people were killed in the studios and illegal living spaces known as the Ghost Ship. Crews are looking for more possible victims in the rubble of the devastated building.
Investigators have not pinpointed the cause of the fire. They have identified most of the victims. Some came from countries outside of the U.S., including Finland, Guatemala, and South Korea. David Begnaud is in Oakland tracking the criminal investigation and missed warning signs. David, good morning.
Nora, good morning. This is big. The local sheriff, who also happens to be the coroner, told me he does not expect that more bodies will be found inside of that warehouse where the work is ongoing right now and has been all night. The building is compromised, as you might expect, so the work is dangerous for those recovery workers. It's slow, it's methodical, it's precise, because this place is being treated as a crime scene this morning. Crews brought in a large crane to help comb through the charred rubble of the Ghost Ship. as a criminal investigation is underway.
We're looking at two things. One is whether or not there is any criminal liability attached to this fire, and secondly, if there is criminal liability, against whom?
The Alameda County District Attorney says potential charges could range from involuntary manslaughter to murder. Fire crews have been busy trying to zero in on a cause, while also continuing the delicate task of recovering victims. They are using buckets to separate remains from personal possessions and building material.
Authorities in Oakland, California say their recovery efforts of the warehouse known to locals as the Ghost Ship have ended after the building went up in flames during a dance party on Friday night, ultimately resulting in the deaths of 36 people. The Ghost Ship was a warehouse that had been converted to an art collective, complete with studio space and some living spaces. Authorities are still trying to determine the cause of the fire, saying a refrigerator could likely have caused the fire in the cluttered warehouse, which had only 2 exits. Alameda County Officer Sergeant Ray Kelly said that the positioning of the bodies found indicated that those trapped in the warehouse were protecting each other, holding each other.